Have you ever noticed small changes in your body and wondered if they're just normal aging or something more? As men get older, certain physical signs begin to show, some obvious, some subtle, and one you might even be able to smell before you see. These changes aren't just random. They're actually clear markers of how the body adapts over time. In this video, we're uncovering 4 telltale signs of aging in older men. One related to smell, 2 that get noticeably bigger, and 1 that becomes smaller. Some of these changes happen gradually, while others might suddenly catch you by surprise. When you look in the mirror one day, how many of these signs do you have? Stick around until the end, because you might discover something that explains a change you've noticed in yourself but never fully understood. Stay tuned, because by the time we finish, you'll have a better understanding of what's happening to your body and what, if anything, you can do about it. Now let's get started. Number 1, the unmistakable smell of aging. There's a certain scent that often accompanies aging, and if you've ever visited a senior living facility, you may have noticed it. It's not about poor hygiene or cologne choices, it's something much deeper, something that happens at the cellular level. As men get older, their skin undergoes biochemical changes, leading to the production of a compound called nonenal. This odorless to some, but noticeable to others. Scent is created when fatty acids in the skin break down due to oxidative stress, and it has a slightly grassy, waxy, or even stale aroma. The challenge is that nonenal doesn't wash away as easily. It is regular sweat and oil. Unlike the usual body odors that come from bacteria, breaking down sweat, nonenal binds to fabrics, lingers on the skin, and resists being fully removed with conventional soaps. This explains why some men continue noticing the scent even after showering. While younger skin naturally regenerates and washes away excess oils, aging skin retains more oxidized fatty acids, allowing the scent to become more pronounced over time. Take Richard, a 74-year-old retired engineer. He started noticing that his shirts seemed to hold on to a certain scent, even after washing them. His granddaughter once told him, "Grandpa, you smell like books and wood," a surprisingly common way people describe this odor. At first, he assumed it was his cologne or laundry detergent. But when switching products didn't change anything, he realized his skin itself had developed a new scent. He wasn't alone. Studies show that people over 40 begin producing nonenal in small amounts. But by the time men reach their 70s, it becomes much more noticeable. But here's the good news: while you can't stop the body from producing nonenal, you can reduce its buildup. Certain soaps, especially those designed to remove excess oils, are more effective at neutralizing nonenal than regular body washes. Antioxidant-rich foods such as green tea, citrus fruits, and leafy greens may also help reduce oxidative stress and slow the process. And because nonenal clings to fabrics, washing clothes in baking soda or using odor-neutralizing sprays designed for aging skin can make a significant difference. So if you've ever wondered why your scent has changed over the years, now you know it's not your imagination, and it's not just about hygiene. It's a natural part of aging that every older man experiences at some point. Number 2, a bigger belly that won't budge. A growing midsection is one of the most common signs of aging in men, and it's not just about eating a little too much or skipping workouts. As men get older, their metabolism naturally slows down. Muscle mass declines and hormonal changes make it easier to store fat, especially in the abdomen. You might have noticed that even if you're eating the same way you did in your 40s or 50s, your waistline keeps expanding. That's because testosterone levels decrease over time, and with it, the body's ability to maintain lean muscle. Since muscle burns more calories than fat, this shift leads to a slower metabolism, meaning extra calories turn into belly fat much more easily than before. For some men, it's not just about appearance, it's about how it feels. Maybe shirts fit tighter, bending over is harder, or carrying extra weight makes movement less comfortable. Take Frank, a 76-year-old who was always lean in his younger years. Even though his diet hadn't changed much, he suddenly noticed his belly sticking out more, while his arms and legs seemed thinner. He blamed it on aging at first, but what he didn't realize was that his body was redistributing fat, storing more in his abdomen while muscle mass in his limbs decreased. The problem isn't just aesthetic. Studies show that excess belly fat in older men increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even cognitive decline. Unlike fat stored elsewhere in the body, abdominal fat is more metabolically active, releasing inflammatory chemicals that affect everything, from blood pressure to brain health. That's why men with a larger waistline in their 70s and 80s often experience higher levels of fatigue, joint pain, and even sleep disturbances. So, what can be done? First, resistance training is one of the most effective ways to counteract muscle loss and keep metabolism from slowing down too much. Second, prioritizing protein in your diet helps maintain lean mass while keeping you full longer, making it easier to manage your weight. And third, avoiding processed carbohydrates and added sugars can help control insulin levels and prevent further fat accumulation. While gaining some belly fat is a natural part of aging, allowing it to grow unchecked can lead to serious health risks. And if you've noticed your midsection expanding despite eating and exercising the same way, it's not just your imagination, it's your body adapting to the natural hormonal shifts of aging. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, the mystery of growing ears. You might not notice it right away, but your ears are actually getting bigger as you age. Unlike muscles that shrink or fat that redistributes, the ears keep growing well into old age, and it's not just your imagination. This happens because cartilage, the flexible tissue that makes up most of your outer ear, continues to grow throughout your life. At the same time, gravity pulls the ears downward, stretching them over the years and making them appear even larger. If you've ever looked at an old photograph and thought, wait a minute, my ears didn't look this big before, you're not wrong. Studies have shown that ears grow by about 0.8 inches per decade, meaning that by the time a man reaches his 70s or 80s, his ears can be noticeably larger than they were in his youth. The difference might not be dramatic from year to year, but over the decades, it adds up. Just ask George, a 78-year-old retired teacher. He always had proportionate ears in his younger years. But one day after looking at an old picture from his wedding, he was shocked to see how much they had changed. His ears weren't just larger, they looked longer and droopier. What's more, he noticed that his earlobes, once firm and rounded, had become thinner and stretched out, making his ears appear even bigger. This is something almost every older man experiences, but very few talk about. Unlike other parts of the body, cartilage doesn't stop growing, and the skin around it loses elasticity, causing ears to elongate over time. While this change isn't a medical concern, it does affect appearance, and for some men, it can even make them feel self-conscious. So, what can be done? While you can't stop cartilage growth entirely, maintaining good skin elasticity by staying hydrated, eating collagen-boosting foods, and protecting your skin from excessive sun exposure may help slow down the drooping effect. And if earlobes seem thinner or wrinkled, applying moisturizer and using vitamin-rich skincare products can help maintain their texture over time. At the end of the day, growing ears are simply a part of aging, just like wrinkles or gray hair. It's not a sign of poor health. It's just nature's way of making sure you still hear the world around you. Number 4, the disappearing calves. As men age, one of the most noticeable changes happens in the legs, specifically the calves. You might have looked down one day and realized that your once strong calves don't have the same shape or size they used to. It's not just about losing weight. This is actually a common sign of aging called muscle atrophy, where muscle mass gradually declines over time. This change happens for a few reasons. First, as testosterone and growth hormone levels drop, the body naturally loses muscle faster than it can rebuild it. Second, many older men become less active without realizing it. Even if you still walk every day, you may not be engaging your calf muscles the way you used to, especially if you no longer run, jump, or do heavy lifting. And third, the circulatory system changes, leading to reduced blood flow in the legs, which can further contribute to muscle loss. Take Robert, a 75-year-old who spent most of his career on his feet. He always had strong, well-defined calves, but in his late 60s, he noticed they were getting thinner and weaker. Even simple tasks like climbing stairs or standing up from a chair without using his hands felt harder. He chalked it up to aging, but the truth was that his muscles were shrinking due to inactivity and hormonal shifts. Losing muscle in the calves isn't just about appearance, it has real consequences. Weak calves can affect balance, increase the risk of falls, and even contribute to slower walking speed. Studies have shown that men with reduced calf muscle mass tend to struggle more with mobility in their later years, making daily activities more difficult. That's why maintaining lower body strength is one of the biggest factors in staying independent as you age. The good news? You can slow down muscle loss, even reverse some of it with the right exercises. Simple activities like calf raises, resistance band training, and even brisk walking on an incline can help rebuild muscle fibers and improve circulation. And don't forget about protein intake. Eating enough lean meats, eggs, or plant-based protein sources can support muscle maintenance and recovery. So if you've noticed your calves looking thinner or feeling weaker, don't ignore it. This is one of those aging signs that can be improved with effort, and taking action now can help keep you strong and mobile for years to come. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. Now that we've covered these 4 subtle yet telling signs of aging in men, take a moment to reflect on how many of them you've noticed in yourself or others. Aging is a journey, and while some changes are inevitable, understanding them gives you the power to take better care of yourself. Whether it's staying active to maintain muscle strength, paying attention to skin changes, or simply making small adjustments to your routine, these little efforts can go a long way in helping you age with confidence and vitality. Aging isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace with the right mindset and habits. Every wrinkle, every shift in your body, and even the subtle scent of time tells a story of experience, resilience, and wisdom. Instead of worrying about these changes, focus on what you can do to stay healthy, strong, and feeling like the best version of yourself. So, what stood out to you the most? Have you noticed any of these signs in yourself? Or are there others you've observed that weren't mentioned here? We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. Have you ever found yourself avoiding people more and more as you get older? Maybe you once enjoyed socializing, but now, the idea of spending time with certain people just feels exhausting. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. As we age, our priorities shift, our patience for nonsense grows thin, and we begin to see things with a clarity that only time and experience can provide. In this video, we're going to explore 7 key reasons why many people in their 70s and beyond start distancing themselves from others. And by the end, you might just realize that your instinct to be more selective about who you spend your time with is not only natural, but also beneficial for your peace of mind. Stay with me until the end, because understanding these 7 reasons will not only help you feel more at ease with your choices, but it might also give you a newfound appreciation for the wisdom that comes with age. Now let's get started. Number 1, you no longer tolerate superficial conversations. There was a time when small talk was just a part of life, something you did at work, at family gatherings, or with neighbors. But as the years go by, you start to realize how little these conversations actually matter. Talking about the weather, the latest gossip, or mindless chit-chat about things that don't affect your life, it all starts to feel like wasted energy. You've spent decades navigating real problems, facing hardships, and learning important lessons. At this stage in life, you crave meaningful conversations, ones that stimulate your mind and leave you feeling enriched rather than drained. You might have noticed that when you try to steer conversations towards something deeper, many people quickly lose interest. They'd rather talk about who did what, or what's trending on TV, than discuss topics that actually hold value. And so, instead of forcing yourself to sit through empty exchanges, you start choosing silence over noise. You spend more time alone, not because you're lonely, but because solitude is far more fulfilling than shallow social interactions. For example, take someone like Richard, a 73-year-old retired teacher. He used to be the life of the party, always ready for a good conversation. But now when he's at a social gathering, he finds himself zoning out as people go on about celebrity news, or complaining about things that won't matter tomorrow. He'd rather sit at home with a good book, take a walk in nature, or have a meaningful conversation with someone who shares his interests. And honestly, can you blame him? As you get older, you realize that your time is valuable. You've earned the right to spend it in ways that bring you peace. And if that means walking away from conversations that serve no purpose, then so be it. Number 2, you've learned that not everyone deserves your energy. There was a time when you felt obligated to be polite, to entertain conversations, and to maintain relationships just for the sake of it. Maybe you felt like it was your duty to be there for others, even when they didn't reciprocate. But as you get older, you start to see things differently. You recognize that not everyone deserves your energy, and not every relationship is worth maintaining. Think about it. How many times have you given your time to people who take and take, but never give back? How many times have you listened to someone complain, supported them through their problems, only to realize that they never truly cared about you in the first place? When you were younger, you may have tolerated this behavior, but now you don't have the patience for it anymore. You've spent a lifetime learning that your peace is priceless, and you refuse to let anyone disturb it. Take Margaret, for example. She's 75 and used to be the person everyone called when they needed help. She'd drop everything to lend a hand, offer advice, or just be a listening ear. But when she needed support, those same people were nowhere to be found. One day she realized something. If a relationship drains you, more than it nourishes you, it's not worth keeping. Now she only surrounds herself with people who truly care, and she feels lighter and happier than ever. It's not about being bitter or angry, it's about knowing your worth. You've lived long enough to understand that not everyone deserves a place in your life. And the moment you stop giving your energy to the wrong people, you open up space for peace, for joy, and for relationships that truly matter. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Now let's move forward. Number 3, you've grown tired of superficial conversations. There was a time when you'd indulge in small talk, force a smile, and nod along to conversations that didn't really matter. You'd listen to gossip, entertain empty chatter, and pretend to be interested in topics that had no real depth. But as the years have passed, you've come to realize that your time is far too precious to be wasted on meaningless talk. You crave conversations that nourish your mind and soul. You want to talk about life, wisdom, and the things that truly matter. You're drawn to discussions that leave you thinking long after they've ended, rather than idle chatter that's forgotten the moment you walk away. It's not that you've become unfriendly, it's just that your tolerance for trivial conversations has faded. Take Robert, for example. At 73, he used to sit through long conversations filled with complaints, gossip, and small talk just to be polite. But one day he found himself wondering, why was he still doing this? Why was he wasting his time, listening to negativity and nonsense when he could be spending his time doing something that actually enriched his life? From that day forward, he stopped engaging in conversations that drained him and started seeking out people who shared his love for meaningful discussions. When you choose depth over superficiality, something shifts inside you. You start to attract people who think like you, who value the same things, and who leave you feeling enriched rather than exhausted. It's not about shutting people out. It's about choosing conversations that bring joy, wisdom, and purpose into your life. Number 4, you no longer tolerate one-sided relationships. There was a time when you would go out of your way to maintain relationships, even if you were the only one putting in the effort. You'd call first, make plans, and always be the one checking in. But after years of giving without receiving, you've come to a realization: you deserve relationships that are mutual. You've noticed that some people only reach out when they need something. They don't ask how you're doing or show genuine care. They only remember you when it's convenient for them. And frankly, you're done with that. Life is too short to chase people who don't value you. Take Helen, for instance. At 76, she had a habit of always being the one to initiate contact with old friends. She would call, send cards, and make an effort to stay connected. But one day she decided to stop. She wanted to see who would reach out to her if she didn't make the first move. And you know what? Silence. Days turned into weeks, then months, and not a single person called to check in. That was all she needed to know. When you stop investing in one-sided relationships, you make space for real, meaningful connections. You start surrounding yourself with people who genuinely care, who give as much as they receive. And that kind of relationship, that's worth holding on to. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, you've lost interest in superficial conversations. There was a time when you could sit through small talk, nodding politely as someone went on about the weather, celebrity gossip, or what their neighbor's cousin was up to. But now you have no patience for empty chatter. If a conversation doesn't have depth, meaning, or at least a little heart. If you find yourself tuning out, it's not that you don't enjoy talking to people, you do. But you crave real conversations, the kind that leave you thinking long after they're over. You want to talk about life, wisdom, memories, and the lessons that come with age. You want to connect, not just fill the silence with meaningless words. Take Richard, for example. At 73, he started to notice that social gatherings left him feeling drained rather than fulfilled. He realized it was because the conversations felt repetitive, just the same small talk over and over again. So he made a change. He stopped forcing himself into situations where he had to fake interest and started seeking out people who shared his curiosity about life. The result, he felt lighter, freer, and more at peace with how he spent his time. When you reach this stage, you understand that your energy is precious. You'd rather have one deep, meaningful conversation with someone who truly sees you than a dozen shallow exchanges that leave you feeling empty. And that's a sign of growth. It means you've moved beyond surface-level connections and started valuing quality over quantity. Number 6, you value your solitude more than company. There was a time when being alone might have felt like loneliness, but now it feels like peace. You've come to understand that solitude isn't something to be feared. It's something to be cherished. When you're alone, you're not pretending to be someone you're not. You're not adjusting yourself to fit into someone else's world. You're just you in the purest, most comfortable way possible. Take Eleanor, for instance. At 74, she realized she no longer needed the constant presence of others to feel fulfilled. She had spent decades going to social events she didn't care for, sitting through conversations that didn't interest her, and making sure everyone else felt comfortable, even at the cost of her own peace. But one day she asked herself, why am I doing this? That question changed everything. She stopped filling her calendar with social obligations that drained her energy. Instead, she spent more time reading, walking, and enjoying her own thoughts. And guess what? She felt happier than she had in years. Not because she cut people out, but because she stopped forcing interactions that no longer felt right. When you start preferring your own company over being around the wrong people, it's a sign of deep self-respect. It means you no longer tolerate relationships that don't add value to your life. It means you've learned that your time, your energy is worth protecting. And once you understand that, everything changes. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 7, you've stopped seeking approval from others. There was a time when other people's opinions mattered more than they should have. You worried about what they thought of you, whether they liked you, whether you were living up to their expectations. But now that weight has been lifted. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. Look at Richard, for example. At 76, he realized something profound. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to spend much time judging others. For decades, he had tiptoed around family, friends, and colleagues, always trying to be what they wanted him to be. He sacrificed his own preferences, his own voice, just to maintain harmony. But what did it get him? Exhaustion, frustration, and a life that felt like it didn't even belong to him. Then one day he decided he was done. He started dressing the way he wanted, speaking his mind and making decisions based on what was best for him, not what others expected. And you know what happened? Nothing. The world didn't fall apart. People didn't suddenly turn on him. If anything, they respected him more. Because when you carry yourself with confidence, people notice. Now he's never been more at peace. He no longer second-guesses himself before speaking. He doesn't replay conversations in his head, wondering if he said the wrong thing. He's free. And that kind of freedom only comes when you stop seeking approval from people whose opinions don't determine your happiness. If you've reached a point where you no longer bend over backward to please others, you've unlocked something rare. You've stepped into the stage of life where your own voice, your own choices, and your own contentment come first. And that, my friend, is a beautiful place to be. Final thoughts. If you found yourself avoiding people more as you've grown older, you're not alone. It doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It often means you've gained wisdom, clarity, and a deeper sense of self. The people you choose to spend time with now aren't just those who happen to be around. They are the ones who bring value, peace, and authenticity to your life. That's a sign of growth, not isolation. At this stage, life isn't about unnecessary noise, meaningless conversations, or maintaining relationships that drain you. It's about preserving your energy for what truly matters. It's about quality over quantity, deep, fulfilling relationships over shallow interactions. And if that means being more selective, so be it. That's not loneliness, that's maturity. What about you? Do any of these reasons resonate with you? Have you noticed a shift in how you interact with people as you've grown older? Have you ever wondered why some people stay healthy, strong in their 90s, while others struggle with constant health problems much earlier? It's not just about genetics. Daily habits play a huge role in how well we age. The truth is, many seniors unknowingly make mistakes that cut years off their lives or make those later years much harder than they need to be. And if you want to live comfortably until 90, there are 6 things you should absolutely avoid. In this video, we'll uncover the biggest lifestyle mistakes that accelerate aging, weaken the body, and make daily life more difficult as you get older. From overlooked health habits to common diet mistakes, each one of these can make the difference between thriving in your later years and struggling with preventable issues. Some of these might surprise you, but once you recognize them, you'll have the power to change your future. Make sure to watch all the way to the end, because the last one on this list is something almost everyone does without realizing how damaging it is. By the time we're done, you'll have a clear roadmap for making the right choices to stay active, sharp, and independent for as long as possible. Now let's get started. Number 1, ignoring strength and mobility exercises. One of the biggest mistakes seniors make as they age is assuming that slowing down is a natural part of getting older. While it's true that the body changes over time, completely avoiding strength and mobility exercises can have devastating consequences. Weak muscles, stiff joints, and poor balance are not just signs of aging, they're often signs of inactivity. And the longer someone goes without working on their strength and flexibility, the harder it becomes to stay independent. Think about it. Movements you once took for granted, like standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, or even walking for long periods, suddenly feel more difficult. That's not just age, that's the result of muscle loss. Studies show that after the age of 30, people lose muscle mass at a rate of 3% per decade if they don't actively work to maintain it. By the time someone reaches 70 or 80, that loss can make everyday life much harder than it needs to be. And it's not just about muscles. Weak legs and poor balance significantly increase the risk of falling, which is one of the leading causes of injury and hospitalization in seniors. Take the case of Robert, a 74-year-old man who had always been fairly active in his younger years, but stopped exercising after retirement. He figured walking around the house and doing yard work was enough to keep him fit. But over time, he noticed that getting up from the couch required more effort, and walking for long periods left him exhausted. One day, he tripped on a small rug and fell, breaking his hip. The doctors told him that his muscles had weakened over the years, making his bones more vulnerable to fractures. What should have been a simple stumble turned into months of recovery, and he never fully regained his mobility. On the other hand, seniors who incorporate even a small amount of resistance training into their routines, whether it's body weight exercises, resistance bands, or light weights, see significant benefits. They maintain better balance, move with more confidence, and reduce their risk of falls and injuries. Mobility exercises like stretching and joint-friendly movements keep the body flexible and prevent stiffness that can limit movement. So what's the solution? It's never too late to start. Even if you've never lifted a weight in your life, simple exercises like chair squats, leg raises, or light stretching can make a huge difference. Walking is great, but it's not enough. Strength and mobility exercises should be a part of your routine, at least a few times a week. Because the reality is, the stronger you stay, the longer you stay independent. And in your later years, independence is everything. Number 2, eating too much or too little protein. When it comes to diet, many seniors focus on avoiding sugar, cutting down on salt, or watching their calories. But one of the most overlooked factors in healthy aging is protein intake. Both too much and too little can cause serious issues. Protein isn't just for bodybuilders, it's the foundation of muscle strength, tissue repair, and immune health. And as you get older, your body needs it more than ever. One of the biggest reasons seniors experience muscle loss is simply not eating enough protein. As we age, our bodies process protein less efficiently, meaning we need to consume more of it to maintain muscle mass. But many seniors unknowingly reduce their protein intake, especially if they eat less overall, or avoid certain foods due to dental issues or digestive discomfort. And the result? Weak muscles, slower recovery from injuries, and even a higher risk of infections, because protein also supports immune function. But the opposite problem can also be just as harmful. Eating too much protein, especially from the wrong sources, can put unnecessary strain on the kidneys, especially for those with pre-existing conditions. Some seniors think that adding extra protein shakes or large portions of meat to their diet is the solution, but the quality of protein matters just as much as the quantity. Relying too much on processed meats, high-fat cuts, or artificial protein supplements can actually do more harm than good. Consider the case of Carol, a 76-year-old woman who always tried to eat healthy. She cut back on meat because she heard it wasn't good for aging bodies, but she didn't replace it with other protein-rich foods like eggs, beans, or fish. Over time, she noticed she was getting weaker. Her skin was thinning, and even minor injuries took longer to heal. When her doctor checked her protein levels, they were dangerously low, contributing to muscle loss and a weakened immune system. On the other hand, her friend John, who was 78, took the opposite approach. After hearing about the importance of protein, he started eating large amounts of red meat every day, thinking it would make him stronger. Instead, he felt sluggish, his digestion worsened, and his kidney function declined due to the excessive protein load. He later learned that moderation and balance were key. Lean proteins like fish, poultry, nuts, and legumes provided better results, without the risks of overloading his system. So what's the right approach? Experts recommend seniors get about 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, spread throughout the day. But more importantly, the source matters. Lean meats, fish, eggs, dairy, beans, nuts, and legumes are great choices. The goal isn't to overdo it or cut it out entirely. It's to strike the right balance to maintain strength, mobility, and immune function well into old age. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, neglecting social connections. One of the most dangerous habits that can shorten your lifespan isn't physical, it's social. As people get older, many unknowingly isolate themselves, whether it's due to retirement, losing touch with old friends, or simply not making the effort to stay engaged with others. And while it might not seem like a big deal at first, studies show that loneliness is just as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of dementia, weakens the immune system, and even raises the likelihood of heart disease and early death. Humans are social creatures, and staying connected is more than just having casual conversations. It's about feeling valued, supported, and mentally engaged. Without that, seniors can fall into patterns of depression, cognitive decline, and even faster physical deterioration. And the scariest part, many people don't even realize it's happening until they've already withdrawn from the world. Take the case of Richard, a 75-year-old man who used to have an active social life when he was working. But after retirement, he slowly stopped reaching out to friends, and as time passed, he found himself spending entire days alone. He told himself he was fine, but over time his memory started slipping. He felt more tired and unmotivated, and even his appetite decreased. His doctor later told him that his isolation was negatively affecting both his brain and body, accelerating the aging process. On the other hand, his neighbor Barbara, who was 78, made a conscious effort to stay socially engaged. She joined a local walking group, had a weekly lunch with friends, and even took up a new hobby at a community center. Not only did she stay mentally sharp, but she also felt happier, had lower stress levels, and was physically healthier than many of her peers. Research shows that seniors who maintain strong social connections have better cognitive function, lower stress, and even stronger immune systems. So how do you prevent isolation? The key is to stay proactive. Even if you don't feel like socializing, make it a point to reach out to family, reconnect with old friends, or join a local group that shares your interests. Whether it's volunteering, joining a book club, or simply making a habit of regular phone calls, every bit of social engagement helps. And with technology today, it's easier than ever to stay connected, even if physical distance is a challenge. The truth is, staying socially active is just as important as staying physically active. And if you want to live comfortably until 90, building and maintaining strong relationships isn't optional, it's essential. But here's the thing, even if you do everything right socially, your health can still be at risk if you're making this next mistake. Number 4, ignoring regular health checkups. One of the most common mistakes people make as they age is assuming that if they feel fine, they must be healthy. But the reality is, many of the most serious health conditions, like high blood pressure, diabetes, and even certain cancers, develop silently, with little to no symptoms until it's too late. Regular health screenings aren't just about catching problems early, they're about preventing complications that could make your later years much harder than they need to be. Too many seniors avoid going to the doctor unless they're feeling sick. Some assume they don't need checkups because they've always been healthy, while others simply don't want to deal with medical appointments. But waiting until something feels wrong is a dangerous game, because by the time symptoms appear, the damage may already be done. High blood pressure, for example, can go unnoticed for years while silently damaging arteries and increasing the risk of stroke and heart disease. And conditions like osteoporosis can weaken bones without any pain or warning signs, making a simple fall far more dangerous. Take the case of Harold, a 72-year-old man who prided himself on never needing medication. He hadn't been to the doctor in over a decade because, in his words, "I feel great, so why bother?" But one morning, while getting out of bed, he suddenly collapsed. It turned out he had severe hypertension that had gone undiagnosed for years, and he suffered a stroke that left him unable to walk without assistance. Had he kept up with regular checkups, his doctors could have caught it early and prescribed simple lifestyle changes, or medications to manage it before it became life-threatening. On the other hand, his friend Ellen, who was 75, scheduled annual screenings even when she felt perfectly fine. Her routine blood work caught an early sign of prediabetes, allowing her to adjust her diet and exercise habits before it developed into full-blown diabetes. Because she took action early, she avoided a lifetime of medication and complications, staying active and independent well into her later years. So what should you be doing? At the very least, seniors should have an annual checkup that includes blood pressure monitoring, cholesterol tests, and screenings for conditions like diabetes and osteoporosis. Routine cancer screenings, such as colonoscopies and mammograms, shouldn't be skipped just because you're getting older. And if something feels off, don't wait, get it checked out. A simple test today could prevent years of suffering down the road. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, poor sleep habits and inconsistent rest. Many people assume that needing less sleep is a natural part of aging. But the truth is, consistent, high-quality sleep is just as essential in your 70s and 80s as it was in your younger years. Unfortunately, many seniors develop poor sleep habits, whether it's staying up too late, waking up frequently, or relying on medications that disrupt natural sleep cycles. And while occasional restless nights might not seem like a big deal, chronic sleep deprivation can accelerate aging, weaken the immune system, and increase the risk of cognitive decline. Sleep is when the body does its most important repair work. It strengthens the immune system, helps regulate blood sugar levels, and even flushes out harmful toxins from the brain that contribute to memory loss and dementia. Without it, the body struggles to recover from daily wear and tear, leading to increased inflammation, higher stress levels, and even a greater risk of heart disease and stroke. Consider the case of Nancy, an 80-year-old woman who had always been a light sleeper. As she got older, she started waking up multiple times a night and eventually stopped getting more than 4 hours of sleep. At first, she brushed it off, thinking it was just part of aging. But over time, she became forgetful, had trouble concentrating, and started feeling anxious for no clear reason. When she visited her doctor, she learned that her chronic sleep deprivation was taking a toll on her brain and nervous system, increasing her risk for Alzheimer's disease. Meanwhile, her friend George, who was 78, made sleep a priority. He stuck to a consistent bedtime, avoided screens an hour before bed, and even started doing light stretching in the evening to relax his body. The difference? He woke up feeling refreshed, focused, and in a better mood each day. Studies show that seniors who get at least 7 or 8 hours of quality sleep per night are not only healthier, but also live longer than those who don't. So what can you do to improve sleep quality as you age? First, maintain a regular sleep schedule. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day helps regulate the body's internal clock. Avoid caffeine and alcohol in the evening, as both can disrupt deep sleep. Create a calming bedtime routine, such as reading or gentle stretching, to help signal to your body that it's time to wind down. And most importantly, address any underlying issues, whether it's pain, sleep apnea, or anxiety. because ignoring poor sleep can have devastating long-term consequences. Number 6, relying too much on medications instead of lifestyle changes. As people age, it's common to accumulate a long list of medications, one for blood pressure, another for cholesterol, maybe something for arthritis, and then a few more to counteract the side effects of the first ones. But here's the problem. Too many seniors rely on medications as a quick fix while neglecting the lifestyle habits that could improve, or even eliminate the need for some of them. And while medications are sometimes necessary, overuse can lead to serious side effects, dangerous drug interactions, and an overall decline in health. One of the biggest risks of excessive medication use is polypharmacy, the use of multiple prescriptions at once. When different medications interact, they can cause dizziness, confusion, fatigue, and even an increased risk of falls. And yet, many seniors don't question whether all their medications are truly necessary. Sometimes doctors prescribe a new pill to treat a symptom that's actually caused by another medication, creating a cycle that only makes things worse. Take the case of Henry, a 79-year-old man who was prescribed a medication for high blood pressure. Over time, he started experiencing muscle weakness and fatigue, so his doctor prescribed another drug for energy. Then he began having digestive issues, leading to yet another prescription. Eventually, he was on 7 different medications, and he felt worse than ever. When a new doctor finally reviewed his prescriptions, they realized that some of his symptoms were actually side effects of his medications, not new health conditions. By making simple lifestyle changes, such as improving his diet and exercising regularly, he was able to reduce his need for multiple medications and felt better than he had in years. Meanwhile, his friend Margaret, who was 80, took a different approach. She worked closely with her doctor to prioritize lifestyle interventions first, eating a heart-healthy diet, staying physically active, and managing stress naturally. While she still needed a few key medications, she was able to keep her doses lower and avoid unnecessary prescriptions. Studies show that seniors who focus on lifestyle changes, rather than just relying on medications, have better long-term health outcomes, fewer side effects, and a higher quality of life. So what's the solution? First, always review your medications with your doctor and ask if any of them can be reduced or replaced with lifestyle changes. Second, focus on the habits that support overall health, a balanced diet, regular exercise, good sleep, and stress management. And finally, be your own advocate. Ask questions about new prescriptions, research natural alternatives, and take an active role in your health. Because at the end of the day, the fewer unnecessary medications you take, the better your body functions as you age. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. Now that we've covered these 6 critical mistakes that can make aging more difficult than it needs to be, take a moment to reflect on your own habits. Which of these stood out to you the most? Are there any areas where you think a small change could make a big difference in your long-term health and happiness? The truth is, living comfortably until 90 isn't just about luck. It's about making intentional choices every single day that support your well-being. Ignoring strength and mobility exercises, eating too much or too little protein, neglecting social connections, skipping regular health checkups, allowing poor sleep habits, and relying too much on medications. These are all things within your control. The good news is that it's never too late to start making better choices. Whether it's adding light strength training, reaching out to an old friend, scheduling that overdue doctor's appointment, or simply improving your bedtime routine, every small step counts. Remember, aging well isn't about avoiding getting older. It's about making sure you enjoy every year to the fullest. And the best way to do that is by taking care of your body, mind, and relationships now, so you don't have to struggle later. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.